Hello, and welcome to Mr. Lewis's Marketing in Minutes series. Now, this series is designed to review what we have been going over in class in video form as well as MP3 form so that you can look at it or you can download it and play it on an MP3 player. So without any further ado, let's get started and cover what we went over today in class. Now, today we discuss how to handle objections and how to sell. And as you can see on your screen, for those video viewers who are looking at this, we did a role play. We took about 15 minutes or so to create a role play scenario in which the members of groups, which had 4 to 5 people in them, they had to show a customer coming in, a salesperson approaching them and handling some type of objection, and then closing a sale. Now, this is before we told the class how to do any type of selling or how to overcome any type of objection, because I wanted to see what you guys already knew. Because we've all been to a store, we've all been to the mall. I just kind of wanted to see, what I had to work with for the future. Very entertaining, great acting. Kudos to you guys. And after we did that, I showed them this slide. So if you're listening to this on your MP3 player, it's the 7 steps to effective selling. There were 7 steps we went over, and I asked them how many people had every single one of these steps in their sales presentation, which nobody did. And then we revamped our sales script to include all 7 steps so we would have an effective way to sell to somebody. So the 7 different steps that we went over was, number 1, approach the customer. And there's several different ways that you can approach the customer. We're going to get into those in their own unit. But for now, we just wanted you to simply approach the customer, smile, and be pleasant. Number 2, determine the customer's needs. So instead of jumping straight into your presentation, find out why the customer is there and what they need from you so that you can fulfill that need quickly and get a sale and move on to the next customer. Third step is present. So notice when the customer came in, we didn't say present was the first thing. We don't launch right into a presentation. We present. We talked about mannerisms, voice inflections, how to use visuals, but most importantly, how to stress benefits over features. Then number 4 was overcome objections, which we'll get into in a minute. We went over several ways of how to overcome a customer objection. Then close the sale. You'd be surprised at how many people do not close the sale. And if you don't close the sale, it's not sales. It's simply a conversation. And I encouraged everybody when they're talking and doing their skits and their videos to assume the sale. So if you ask somebody, did those jeans fit? And they say yes, instead of sitting there in awkward type of silence or asking, do you want it? Just take the jeans and say, well, let me put those up to the cash register while you look around for any other items you might have. Can I help you with anything else? Because there are some people who are on the fence about buying things, and the fact that you just took them from them, they might go, you know what, I'll go ahead and buy those. And there's actually some people who are afraid to say no to people. So go ahead and take those jeans or take that merchandise and assume the sale and do what we call a trial close. Now, the customer can always say no, which would bring you back to an objection, and you can counter that objection. But sitting in silence and having the customer walk out, no good. We actually, ironically enough, want to get to the objection so we know what we can handle. So after you close the sale and we're ringing that person up, we'd like for you to engage in what's called suggestive selling. And that's selling some type of complimentary item that helps the customer out a bit more. Some people call that upselling. So if they just bought a pair of pants, maybe you suggest a pair of earrings to go with it, or a belt, or a pair of shoes. Foot Locker is great at this. When you buy shoes there, they always say, do you need socks? Do you need foot deodorizer or shoe deodorizer, and things like that. And lastly, customer relationship management. You know, it irritates us sometimes to hear this, especially during the holidays when we're in our 20th store. Can I have your email? Can I have your phone number? Can I have your blood type or whatever? There's a reason why they're doing that. It's because stores are trying to build a relationship with you so they don't have to depend on you just happening to come into their store. They can actually email you discounts, and sometimes it's pretty good stuff. They can email you, like come in and you'll get 20%, 30%, 40% off for being an email customer or a Facebook customer or a Twitter customer. So there's actually some benefits to that. So if you can build a relationship and make it kind of personal for a customer, there's a greater chance that they'll come into your store. So let's get into the objections. We went over a few of these. And what I did is I told people what type of objections there are. Either people don't need something, or they say, I'm just looking. They don't like who's selling something. So if they say, I don't like the manager here, they treated me bad last time, I don't like these jeans, they bled on my leg last time, so I don't trust anything in the store, that's a source complaint. Or a price complaint, it's too expensive. So when one of these objections do occur, there's several ways that you can counter them. And what I've done here is put a general objection on every slide. And if you're listening to this in the MP3 form, the objection says the jacket is too thin. And I'm going to go over several methods of how to counter the jacket is too thin if a customer says that. And the first is called the boomerang method. It's called so because you throw a boomerang out, and what does a boomerang do? Comes right back to you. All right, so in red on our slide, I've got that the salesperson could say something like this. That's true, but that's because we use lightweight material that makes it easy for you to ski down the slopes. So you're actually using something negative as a positive. The next method was called the third-party method. You see this a lot with people, especially with celebrities. Do you want this watch? So-and-so celebrity has this watch. Don't you want to be like him? Or you see a big sign of Justin Bieber, Britney Spears with their newest perfume out. And the idea is have this perfume and be just like them. A salesperson might do something like what you see on the slide here. They might ask you a bunch of questions and do a needs assessment, ask you where you go to school, and then talk about somebody else from your school that actually purchased the item like this. I thought the same thing at first, but a group of Marietta High School students were just in here, and they bought a few of these last week and said that though the jacket's light, it actually kept them warm while they exercise. The next method we went over in class is called the demonstration method, and it's just like it sounds. You demonstrate the use of a product to overcome an objection. So in this case, a salesperson might say, if you step outside with it on, you'll see just how warm this jacket is. So although it's thin, it really does keep you warm. You see this a lot in the electronics industry when you go into a store like Best Buy or what have you, and somebody is blaring a radio because they want to check the quality of it, or they're watching TVs. A demonstration can really go a long way if you have a good product. Next, we talked about the standing room only method, and quite simply, that is telling somebody, hey, we don't have a lot of these, you better buy them now, or they're not going to be around. This works particularly well at Christmas with the holidays coming up. It's pretty appropriate for us to talk about where parents want to buy things that their kids want. If a salesperson says, look, all the other parents are buying it, your kid would probably really like to see this under the tree, and we only have one left. If somebody's on the fence about buying something, that might just send them over the edge to where they'll make the purchase. The substitution method. Sometimes there is a legitimate concern that a customer has, and whatever you have is just not working for them. So instead of saying, well, I'm sorry, we'll try again next time, try to find something in the store that does suit their needs. You've already done your needs assessment. So if you can find something similar, maybe you can still get a sale. So in this case, customer says, again, this jacket is too thin. You can say, you know what? You're right. We do have a thicker version of it right over here. It may not be the same thing, but it's very similar. Why don't we try this on? After going over these various ways of handling objections, I reminded the class that we're probably going to be placed into several different types of selling situations in the future where you're going to have to overcome objections. If you get in those situations and you just kind of freak out and forget all of these methods, there are 3 words that can help you out. For those people who are viewing this through video, you can see the words at the top of your screen, and they are feel, felt, and found. And it would go something like this. I understand exactly how you feel. Others have felt the same way before their purchase, but after they took the jacket home, they found that its thinness was actually a major benefit when they exercise. So what you're doing there is you're telling the customer, I can put myself in your shoes. I understand exactly how you feel. You're not the only one that has felt this way. Other people have felt the same way, and here's what they found. And then you insert the benefit there. This has been a production of Mr. Lewis's Marketing in Minutes. To get in touch with me, please email me at slewis@marietta-city.k12.ga.us.